Jason McMillan, absent. Sarah Reese Socha, Carissa Smith,
Yes.
Pam Snyder, Marty Stephen, Dixie, is it Weideman? Weidman. Dixie Weidman. Chris Maybe, Nick Trimner.
Here.
Okay, I'm getting an echo or something. All right. Public comment, communications. Motion to approve the meeting minutes from May 20.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Alrighty, any discussion? If not, I'll take a motion to approve. Or a vote to approve.
So all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Though opposed? Motion carries. I think, okay. Funding sources and levels, City of Park Falls.
So we did, was it last couple weeks ago, I talked to Carrie over in Health and Human Services. She did send out a letter to the municipalities for funding at a slightly higher level than they currently are. I have not heard back from any of the municipalities, but I did, in that request, we did say that if there was any meetings that you'd like us to attend, please let us know and we can show up during the budget process. I believe we asked for $2,500 more than last year. So it was 10,000 and we asked for 12,500. I talked to Carrie. She was working on sending it also to some of the municipalities that were surrounding us that would have some overlap, but in the past we haven't had much response with those.
Do we ever ask Butternut? Because we do a lot of their school.
Yep. So we've asked those surrounding, and Pat, do you want to talk about that area?
Yes.
Do you want to go up or sit somewhere where there's a mic? Because always online can't hear you. We'll allow it.
All right. Okay, I printed all my stuff up and left it on the printer. So I'm going to work off my phone. So it's funny you brought up Butternut because that was something I was going to ask if you're contacting, and I think we really need to pursue Butternut contributing. In 2023, we did 2,277 rides in Butternut. Currently, in 24, we're at 1,910. That's people with Butternut address. So they, excuse me, so they are seeing a significant amount of ridership. I've just been hearing a lot about Butternut in the office, so I decided to have them run reports to pull the numbers. And I think it's something we should look at going to, and I can get all the numbers together and take them to a meeting in Butternut and see about them contributing.
Yeah, if you want to get us those numbers, because the only concern I'd have with Butternut address is like individuals that are in Price County still have a Butternut address on the north side of, so northwest of Park Falls. Anybody on was a Lake Shore Drive, that would all be Butternut addresses. I would guess anybody on F or to that way, agenda to F. So there'll be a little bit over. I do believe there's a lot of Butternut riders, but I don't want to just assume all of that is Butternut because there are some Price County addresses that would say Butternut. But if you get us those numbers, I can have Carrie send a letter and then go to one of their meetings too.
And the other one would be that maybe even consider talking to the school district, because we do take quite a few students back and forth to school from Price County.
Okay.
So that may be another source, because my understanding is that the busing won't cross the county line to school buses. And that's where we've been coming in handy for all them. And at times we have to make 2 trips from the Butternut School because the bus wasn't big enough. So,
Good to
Yeah,
know.
because there are some Butternut addresses, of course, that are all Ashland County as well.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I mean,
Yeah.
trying to determine, that's difficult.
Yeah, but I knew about the school was utilizing it, and so maybe that's a good approach. And I don't believe we're ever at a point where we'd say no to Butternut, but it is outside the 5 mile. Well, it's something that needs to be discussed in the future.
definitely, I think it's of all the other townships around, it's the one that's most commonly used.
All right, City of Phillips, no change.
No, and that's with Park Falls, Phillips. That's really any municipality with the funding. We are reaching out to them, but I will work with Pat and we'll get something more for that Butternut area. If nothing else, I can talk to Ashland too, their administrator, and he might have a little better contact with some of those Butternut area people.
Alrighty, route reports. Because we don't have a Butternut route report, do we?
Well, it would be in the Park Falls ridership numbers.
Right.
One thing that I don't know if we get the, no. So I'm part of the full BART board, and there's a chart that maybe I'll get to the full our board, but you've had record numbers of ridership as a whole service that you've provided. So that's good to know as a group, that not only are we seeing more riders, but the whole BART, what do you call the service, is seeing record numbers, which is good and bad. Just means more miles, but it's also helping more people.
And I can bring that up here. There we go. So currently, BART last year did just under 70,000 rides, 69,778. Currently, we're over 41,000, almost 42,000 rides. We've had increases in ridership most every month. I think there's 3 months that we didn't have increases. In a couple of months, we've had double-digit increases. So like I said, has been. We're back above pre-COVID levels in June. Well, August is always our biggest month, but June and April and February we hit highest numbers that we've ever had for the months. Curious to see where August comes out. August is normally around 8,000 rides. So we're happy to say that we're either at or above pre-COVID levels on every month. Let's see here. Yeah, they don't have much for August in this report yet. So,
And I do have that chart up because I have that packet, so you can see.
oh, there you go. Yeah, that's what I was just looking at.
Yep.
Do we attribute August to, is it people for shopping, running to an Aqua Walmart or anything for back to school purposes?
August, we do a lot of other things. We're running big top shows. We're running, summertime, we do a bunch, we have more routes running. So
Okay.
that will attribute to some of the increased ridership. Once we go into winter, we park several of our buses and decommission them for the winter time because they're not needed. But anytime we have anything extra going on, it's usually in the summer months. August, we see the fair, Bayfield County Fair, where we transport for the Big Top. I think the Point to La Pointe Swim was in there, and then that hauls a lot of people. So there's several events that
Okay.
we're part of that help that out.
And I'm assuming the peak in October is because of Apple Fest.
Apple Fest isn't as much as it used to be, but yes, it does give us a jump there. And that's system wide. As far as down here in Price County, Phillips is the opposite of the trend, where you see that spike in August. Phillips tends to drop in August, or in July, it's been dropping, and August doesn't have as big of a spike that we see there. I'm not sure why that is. You'll see that Park Falls in August will spike up, and the Monaco one is fairly flat through there.
And I would say Phillips were less event based and more just utility based, like grocery store, clinics, whatever it might be. Park Falls, we see a little bit of increase in the summer because of the pool. They do swim lessons. A lot of families use the bus to get to swim lessons. But again, we're back to utility based is where I think our numbers are, and that's the school, the appointments, the necessity rides rather than event rides and fun activities.
I wonder how many people are compared the cost of a BART compared to gas and how much it costs them to keep a car. Maybe they could park it for a while and just do bus, BART bus. And I mean, the economy it's affecting everything. So if we have rider increase, maybe part of that is we're just going to park the car. What's going on? We're just going to park the car for a little while and do BART.
And we see that in Ashland. Another spike is for us is the Berry Farms in Bayfield. We do run a lot of people up there. Apple Fest, we used to run a lot of people up there to pick up apples. I would have thought you'd see more of a trend with the free youth rides in the summertime, where you'd see a little more of a spike, but it's not quite doing that.
We do have riders they'll winterize their vehicle and just say, I'm not going out. We saw that in Park Falls when we first started quite a bit, where the individuals just said, I don't want to drive in the winter and I need to get to my appointment, and this is the best way to go about it because I don't have to get out on that road. So I think what you're saying, it's not necessarily value based, like it's more of convenience and safety based. Like they just don't want to be out on those roads.
They want a warm vehicle versus warming theirs up.
Well, yeah, Marty and I, if it's summertime, we'll go all over the place for fish fry. When it's wintertime, it was Harborview Burgers, or there was a third one, and that's it, because we don't book out on these county roads to be in the ditch at 8:00 at night, So yeah, a lot of it, I can see that, All righty. Let's get over to program reports. Fair, I don't know what's going on with my voice. Fairs and hours of operation.
We have no intention at this time of changing the fares. I think they're still good. We raised up in Ashland, Bayfield County to get more consistent with down here. Hours of operation, we're not even looking at changing anything there at this time.
Do you know of any times that we're just not seeing a lot of ridership? Is the Saturday one paying off? Is it not that you could just pick and choose hours? You know, you're not going to be like 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. and then stop for 4 hours and send somebody home. But is there, just to be able to explain to individuals that Saturday is a valued drive day rather than Monday through Friday, do you see ridership?
We don't see the ridership on Saturday system wide that you do during the week. You would think with more people being off on Saturdays, you'd see our ridership up. You know, when we got the petition to get the bus going over to Walmart, I would have thought we'd had a lot of Walmart riders on Saturday. We're just not seeing the trend carries down here. That Saturday ridership is not as big.
I want to say, in my experience, part of that is with all the festivals in town, that's not the day they're going to go to Walmart. Or family comes into town and everybody's bebopping around with family. So I'm just wondering if, you know, that in the summertime, I would think if I were a regular bus driver on the weekend, I'm probably not going to take the bus anywhere.
So you could take one Saturday route in Ashland. It's a City of Ashland bus and one that runs to Red Cliff and back. It's done 1,247 rides this year. It just not there compared to other routes, but I don't have them broke down by a day. It's just the whole route.
This is a service we wouldn't, well, I understand we pulled out of Prentice and why, but this wouldn't be, we wouldn't consider just a 1-day shutdown for lack of ridership.
At this point, no, but it could at some point, if the ridership's not there and the expenses keep going up, it could be an option to cut that to save on funding.
Alrighty.
And Saturday's been out of all we used to do Monday through Friday, we added Saturday. Now I wouldn't say as an experiment. It was just we felt there was a necessity for it. That would probably be the first area you'd review is Saturday the right move. But
Do you still have your packet up? You want to put up the veteran rides? I do have them broken down by county so we can show. Might be quicker for you than for me to try and find it. Price County was welcomed the quickest and grew the fastest with veterans riding free.
do you know what page it was?
It's there in the financials keep going up. It's going to be up a ways yet. Keep going. Keep going. We'll go past the graph. Next. There we go. That's it. Yeah. Veteran rights.
I had 44, 42.
No, it was just a one-page thing. And it's broken down between Price County and the buses up in Ashland, Bayfield County. So you see each month, Price County just gives more rides to veterans than you see the first month we did it, we had what, 16 rides, 16 or 18 rides, and up north we had none.
So we're almost 60% of the ridership, because here was 70 out of 100. So it would have been 70 to 40.
We have one veteran that does go to dialysis 3 days a week. So, and the dollar amounts next to them are just showing what, if they paid the fare, what the fare would have been. So we know how much. It's not necessary that's how much we lost, because some of them may have not rode before and started riding because it was free. So it's just showing, giving a number, a dollar amount to it, because our board has to decide in December if they're going to continue it into next year. So it was just a temporary thing for this year into December. So they want to kind of get some type of financial idea of what it was. Wanted some type of financial numbers to it to make a decision.
And every veteran who, I'm new on the bus, you know, they're telling their family, somebody's asking them, how are you getting there? Oh, I'm doing the BART bus, or they're telling someone else that they're on the BART.
And
So,
up in Ashland area, I have received many compliments for that we're doing the something for the veterans. I don't spend as much time down here to talk to people, but I'm sure the public down here is just as happy.
here's an all of a sudden oddball question. We had no, what was it, on tap, and they ran a shuttle bus from the fairgrounds. Okay, I understand. I think it was a school bus. I don't know.
It's at Medford. Yes.
Medford.
Yeah, they just rent a bus. The chamber or the fairgrounds did to do it.
You know, I'm assuming it's like a 70-seater. I have no
Yeah,
idea.
it's a full size bus.
Yeah, if they filled it or needed more, or, you know, is that something we could ask them to consider if they're going to hire it? Ask them to consider BART.
Based on availability, we've worked with them before on buses. Also, they're still running their Saturday route throughout the Phillips areas to drop. People could be riding it down to the event, but can't get home, which.
Yeah, we do, if we know of an event that wants, like Big Top, where they want us to do shuttles, we set up routes for that and put it in our grant. And then it's, if I want to do charter, where somebody just calls me for whatever, just to go out and do it, a charter is way different. It takes about a month or more to even prepare for it, and a lot of paperwork. So if this is something they would want to do, we would really push them towards us creating a route, but the bus would have to come out of Ashland, because we do not have anything larger than a 14 passenger down here. We have 28 passenger buses up there, but none of our drivers down here can drive them either, because they all require CDL with a passenger endorsement. So the cost does go up when we have to bring them all the way from Ashland. And depending when it is and what hours and what shows on at the Big Top, some nights we've had as many as 6 buses up at Big Top. So we kind of watch what we're doing there, so we don't cut out Big Top, who we do quite a bit of runs for.
Yeah. And this was the first year the chamber did that. So we'll ask them for feedback to see how they thought it went, if they needed more, or
Some of those
Or not.
events, it's hard to say, you know, it's like Bayfield County Fair. We shuttle from Ashland and from Washburn to the Bayfield County Fair. And this year we did 6 rides in 8 hours. So sometimes it's not even, there's no rhyme or reason to why at some events people, you know, Big Top, they're reserved, some of them, most of that's reserved seating, and they're filling up buses like crazy. But Other events, you can't get them to ride. We used to do Ashland County Fair and the ridership was so low, they quit doing it.
Okay.
We have done Flamborama down here with with a bus. Running people one day, I think it was Saturday. I can't remember all the particulars of it, but we were running a small bus doing a shuttle back and forth continuous loop.
I think that was between the car show and the downtown,
Yes, that
That's
does
at-
sound familiar.
the school. Car show, I think, is at the school, so it was just a shuttle back and forth.
Yeah, okay. All right, marketing?
I don't have anything there at this time, but other than we're doing the free rides for the youth. And,
Okay.
and the veterans, that's the last two big pushes we did.
Right. Budget and funding.
I'm working on budget right now. I'm just put our preliminary budget out and I'm looking where areas where we can save some money. So
Including all the drivers, full-time and part-time, how many drivers do we have?
I don't know off the top of my head. There's 10 drivers down here. And
More than 50?
no.
Okay,
We're doing about 30 paychecks a month.
okay. Okay. How are they liking the new shop in Park Falls?
They like it. They like it a lot.
Okay. I had, the one question I had, we've ordered the electric bus. With is there an update on that or?
2026. Not before. That's what
Okay.
It's going to be a while. That is a good point, though. So funding, we're looking for the same things we've funded in the past or more actually, from the municipalities. Our funding is out of the grant that goes to BART. We did put in our budget because there was a request we have to update buses, not necessarily the electric, but just buses in general. We did put 2 in the budget. Can't remember if it was ARPA funding we wanted to use or I'd have to talk to Carrie, but that has to be approved by the board for buses. We haven't bought one in a couple of years. So there has been an ask. So we're putting it in the budget to do at least, we know it was 1 this year and 1 the following year, but we have some room. So we want to do 2 right away, or at least say we'd fund the 2 so it's allocated. That's kind of funding on our end is we know we have to participate in replacing buses. It's just when.
Yeah. The newest bus down here is a 2020. And that one has 330 some thousand miles on it, gas engine. That's the one that was in the accident. It is sitting in our shop right now. We have a new engine, a new transmission for it, and we've rebuilt everything else. So the entire drivetrain has been replaced in this bus. In the next week or so, that's going to get the engine and transmission will be complete. So it's about, I think it was around $23,000 we're putting into this, which is far short of the 124 they cost new. And being it's a 2020, that bus is in great shape. The accident just did some undercarriage damage, drivetrain damage, so it wasn't anything that we couldn't rebuild it. The insurance company, our insurance kicked in the local share to the grant. I had a $15,000 grant to rebuild it, to redo the drivetrain. So the insurance company kicked in the local share and all the rest. So we're getting it rebuilt pretty much at no cost. And that bus will go another 3-4 years, and then it'll probably it's going to have to be replaced. The other buses are 2016 and 2018. Every bus down here in Price County has 150,000 plus on it, and they're all gas engines, so they all need to replace. I have 3 buses on order for down in Price County. We have a spare bus down here, which we're going to replace, which is being used right now for the Minocqua route. We have the Park Falls bus and the Phillips bus. So we're going to replace all of them with new gas engine buses. The electric bus, when it comes, then we'll put that here in here in Phillips. It's just that the gas engine's not going to make it until that one comes in. I don't feel it will. It's sat outside too much. There's quite a bit of rust on it. Now that they're in the buildings, we're just going to replace drivetrains and keep running them buses till they're about 500,000-600,000 miles on them, and then we'll get rid of them. A lot cheaper, and like I said, keeping them in a building keeps them in a lot better shape. We see that in Ashland, that we put that 2020, which has always been outside, next to a 20 year was that one? It was 2 or 3 years older, and the older one looks better than the newer one. You can just see the fade in it from all the sun, and but like I said, the body and everything is still in great shape, even though it was outside for several years.
Are the older ones compared to the newer ones, can the older ones still heat the bus? Is it cold in the back of the bus?
No, as far as functionality, they're all fine. It's just the corrosion that we're seeing underneath in the frames and everything, and the sides. The new ones are all fiberglass sides. The older ones were metal. The new ones are going to be 14 passengers. The old ones are either 7 or 9. So we do need to. The new ones are going to be 4 wheelchair capable. The old ones are 1. So they're going more to what we need. We've turned down wheelchair. We had just recently had 2 wheelchairs wanting to go somewhere, and we had to do them in 2 trips. So with the school kids riding, we've numerous times have had the Park Falls bus can't handle everybody that wants to ride in one trip. We've had some daycares want to do trips and that. It's just, so we need to go to that larger capacity. The other advantage is if we go to duals on the rear, and in the wintertime, they get around much better than these single wheel buses.
What's the rider capacity of the electric bus?
That one's, my assumption is going to be right around 12.
Okay. All right. Does anyone have anything further?
I would just like to bring up that the new city administrator for Park Falls is starting on Monday. So I will make sure to follow up to ensure that he has a copy of this letter.
Thank you. And it's City of Washburn. So.
I know he is very familiar with me and Bart. They City of Washburn supports Bart in 2 different routes. So he's very familiar with public transit and what we do.
I'm very excited to have Scott on board. So.
All right, anything else? Next meeting is August 19, 2024. Oh, that is today. November 18, which is, my understanding, not in hunting season
We
week.
moved it up. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, November 18, 1 o'clock. Phillips? And we are adjourned.